when we went to court, the magistrate lifted and even...
And welcome back. It's time for the big question, which tonight is this. Is Meru a swing vote county? Let us know your thoughts. We'll be getting to your questions as well for Peter Munya, the immediate former chair of the Council of Governors, Meru County Governor, and of course is seeking re-election on a PNU ticket. And you're welcome to the program. Thank you for coming in. I just want to start very quickly with the conclusion of your tenure at COG. What would you say of that experience, and what is the state of devolution?
Yeah, it was a great experience to lead the council for 2 terms. Remember, I was re-elected in May last year, and my term came to an end yesterday. We have kept the devolution agenda alive. We have named major achievements. One of the key achievements during my term was for the 2 levels of government to accept to give money directly to the counties without passing the money through the national ministries.
Right. It's
a fight we had for quite a while, but eventually it was accepted. Now donor money and even government grants or conditional grants, as they are called, now pass directly to the counties. We have also been able to make our secretariat able to supervise some of the projects, because now we run even projects, there are projects run in the county supervised by or coordinated by the Council of Governors.
Okay.
We have also been able to negotiate 2 key projects for the counties from the World Bank, funded with a lot of money. Capacity building, one dealing with capacity building for counties, the other one for universal health care. So those, I would consider those major achievements during my term.
Right.
We have also been able to establish a Marifa Center, a center that will be helping us pick key lessons, what counties have innovated, so that others can learn from them what has been innovated elsewhere. It's a center we are incubating, and it will make a big difference in helping us draw lessons from other counties and from other countries, which we can be able to implement in our counties.
All right, and a little later in our discussion we'll return substantively to the issue of counties and how they're operating. But let's just swing into the politics. Straight off the bat, you've been accused of being a NASA mole in the Mount Kenya region, and specifically in Meru, by your opponents. So what are your thoughts on that? And why would they think that? Well,
opponents will always look for something to throw at you, and I think my senator thinks that that's something he can throw at me, and maybe it would help him in his politics. I am not NASA. I am a PNU member and a supporter of the president.
All right, but
I am not. I am independent-minded. So sometimes I would be different. I would say different things from what the government is, national government is saying. Especially having been the chairman of the Council of Governors, we have differences in approach to things with the national government. So sometimes people view that as, being anti-government.
But even before we get into the way in which your role many times would be at loggerheads with national government and to be seen to be going against the president, that aside, you've been seen to be associating for a significant amount of time quite closely with Raila Odinga, including on his tour of the Meru region, much to the displeasure of your colleagues in the region. What do you say to them?
That is not true. I have not associated closely with Raila Odinga. I hosted Raila Odinga when he came for the devolution conference, which was hosted in Meru, which we had invited the president. The president was supposed to be the guest of honor. He did not turn up. Raila came. And devolution conferences, we invite everybody, even the ones we have had in Kisumu, in Kwale, in Naivasha. All leaders come, because devolution is not one side of government. Devolution is an agenda for all people and for all Kenyans. So that is the only time I have been with Raila in Meru. Other times he comes and he does his own meetings.
Yes, and in his latest tour of the area, he endorsed your re-election, saying that, you have a lot in common.
He endorsed my re-election, and he also invited the Senator of Meru to to join him. I responded the next day and I said I cannot join NASA, and even Kuwait also did the same. So why should it be viewed differently? And there is nothing wrong with people inviting you. So it's a question of you deciding whether you want to be there or not.
Okay.
Let me be very, very straightforward. If I wanted to be a member of NASA, I wouldn't ask anybody's permission. I would announce and say I am now a member of NASA. So I have not. I am a member of PNU, and I support, and I've consistently said that I support the re-election of the president. Indeed, my party, PNU, was the first party to publicly announce during our delegates conference that we are supporting the re-election of the president.
And how is it that when these other parties 2 weeks ago were putting, switching the hands and all of that and doing the endorsement, that your party was conspicuously absent?
We were not invited. We were not even informed.
You were not invited?
We read from the media that there were meetings to endorse the president. So we couldn't just come. We were left out for whatever reason. But later we were informed that, we should be able to do also our meeting. And the meetings were taking place on a Friday. I was traveling out that Friday, so I was outside. I was out of the country that Saturday. But I was called by the president's people, specifically Jomo, and we talked and agreed we'll pick another date for our endorsement. And we are not the only party that did not do that that time. Even DP didn't. They did theirs later. And I think even Kenya didn't. But yet
your situation has been read to be a signal of some sort of frosty relations between yourself and the top two of Jubilee, given that kind of combative, very uncomfortable, if you like, relationship that you had with them while you were chair of COG.
Well, I'm the chair of COG, and issues arise that COG will not agree with the national government. If that is what has contributed, it's understandable. But I am a supporter of Jubilee. I don't belong to the other side of the political divide. You
also were vehemently opposed to the merger of parties to form this Jubilee outfit. Do you think that also contributed to a bit of the cool winds in your relationship?
Perhaps, but the biggest really differences between me and number two. I have not had any major issues with the president.
This about because the deputy president?
The deputy president spent more time. He has spent a lot of time in Meru, campaigning me and supporting my opponents.
What's the source
Even
of your
recently, he came to receive one of the candidates from PNU and took her to Jubilee. So this has been part of the problem. But at no time have we had any serious, issues with the president, other than my position as chair of COG and taking positions that I think are pro-devolution, and perhaps differing with the president on those issues.
What is the genesis of your problems with the deputy president?
I would really think he should be the one to explain. But there are people who say, because I've said I also be running for president 2022, that may have created this problem. Because clearly it pushes, my opponents, the campaign's news. It's not a secret.
And is that why you were very, vehement that you wanted PNU to stand? It's your vehicle for 2022.
Well, I've had the experiences with parties in the past. My first election in Parliament, I won a nomination and I was denied the ticket. And from that time, I said I want to be very clear. If I'm in a party, there is democracy and I have space from within I can operate. And that's why, when I saw what was being built, big parties swallowing every other party, I did not like that idea of reducing the democratic space that we have enjoyed since multipartism. And clearly you can see from the primaries what happened. It's good that some of us took that position.
I just want to pedal back a little bit to your issues with the deputy president. And I mean, it's not peculiar. You're not the only leader who says, we're supporting the president, but we have issues with the deputy. We've seen that in the Rift Valley as well. What is that about? Is it his style of leadership? Is it his personality? Why do we find a lot of people who are saying they are supporting the president, a significant number differing with his deputy?
I think it has something to do with his style.
What don't you like about it?
I think he's a bit too abrasive when in dealing with people who are perceived to be his opponents. I think he forgets that some of these people he thinks are opponents could also be allies. Politics is not, it's not stuck somewhere, and things are never permanent. So sometimes you need to treat even those you perceive as opponents with some, some understanding, because you never know. You may need them one day.
Right. And now that you are insistent on PNU, and we've seen even the parties that, beginning with your challenger for the gubernatorial race, his own admission that perhaps it was a mistake to make this merger, do you feel vindicated in some way?
For sure. I mean, we said this merger may not work, because merger, if it's voluntary, people are really doing it on their own volition, because they really genuinely want to join ideologies and maybe coming together. It's okay. But when you are enforcing it, using the weight of your offices to push people to close parties, I don't think that kind of a situation can last long, and it has repercussions. Like now, we have created a big movement called independence, which would not have been there if we had allowed parties to operate freely, and parties that are friendly to continue supporting Jubilee, and those are friendly in us to continue supporting. I think we need to let our democracy develop in a freer environment than where we are forcing things.
Do you think Jubilee will stand past this election?
No, why not? I think they will. I believe they will.
Okay.
But you need to, you need to continue working to bring many people on board.
Okay, you've talked about independence. 52 independent candidates in Meru are seeking various offices, from governor all the way down to MCA. They formed a caucus, which they say is apparently to deliver the people from the tyranny of party slavery. What do you think of that independence movement? Is it substantial, and will it pose a problem past this election?
Well, you cannot ignore a lot of people coming together, seeking offices. You can't say this is nothing. They certainly will have some impact. If we had avoided this merger thing, forced merger thing, this would not have arisen. And remember, if you're in parliament and you want numbers in parliament, it's more difficult dealing with individuals who are calling themselves independent than when you are talking to parties. Because you are talking to 3 parties, for example. All you need is the leadership of those parties, and you are able to agree. You can now imagine if you have to mop all sorts of individuals who are independent. You have more difficult time in bringing them on your side to work for your agenda. So the whole thing of merger was counterproductive in my opinion.
Okay.
And there is always, whenever there is a push, there is also a pull in politics. There is nothing you say now we'll do this, it will happen like this.
Right.
Sometimes things happen that are totally unpredictable, that even become worse than the situation you are in.
Well thought out, you think?
I think it wasn't.
Okay.
And remember, it was tried again even during Kibaki's time. Kibaki was also advised to merge these parties. He tried. When he realized there was resistance, he said no. Halas told him no. Let all those people running their party support you. They will bring more voters out to vote for you.
Yet you're confident Jubilee will stand past the election?
I want you to understand that the push for merger was not entirely a Jubilee affair. It was even the other side. In fact, the bill that banned party whooping was a bipartisan bill pushed from both sides of the political divide. So it was not just Jubilee doing.
Right.
It's only that maybe on the Jubilee side is where there was more parties joining the merger, but the prevention of party whooping was a sponsored bill and agreed by both sides of the leadership.
Has the politics of Meru changed since you were elected?
Well, yes, they have. They have, in a sense, Because when I was elected, there was TNA and the BAS party, which I was a member. Now BAS is dead. I'm in PNU, and there's Jubilee. And PNU has picked quite strongly. As a party, we have candidates there. My party leader, who was in BAS, is now in Jubilee. So there has been quite some change in Meru in terms of politics. And I can assure you, once the elections are done, you'll see quite some change in terms of new faces and new leadership coming in.
Yeah, how significant do you think that will be? Because NASA says counts among the regions where it has made forays to be Meru County. What would you attribute such a statement to? They've gone to the extent of saying that they're expecting to get at least, 300,000 votes in areas of Meru.
Well, I may not talk a lot about the neighboring county of Barakani, which is also a Meru county. In Meru, there is quite some support for NASA, I would say. But the 300,000 votes is an exaggeration, in my opinion.
What has fueled that?
Meru continues to be a strongly Jubilee county.
What do you think has fueled that support? That's good.
There has been a sense of marginalization, especially in one region of Meru, I would say Nyambene specifically. People feeling that nothing much has been done in terms of development in that area. And remember even the Mira issue, remember also issues of insecurity in that area with livestock and bandits coming and attacking people being killed, and nothing much is being done to deal with that. That has brought in a sense of frustration in that region, and those issues are addressed, and I think already there is attempt to address those issues. I don't think there will be any major problem.
So you do not think that Meru is a swing county?
I wouldn't classify Meru as a swing county, but I would say there is some significant support for NASA in one of the regions.
Kiraitu Murungi, who is your challenger, believes that your politicking through COG leading up to this election has fueled that support for NASA.
Let me tell you part of what has fueled that support. It's the character of Kiraitu himself.
Really?
Yeah.
How?
People, especially in that region, don't like the way he approaches politics, and they think he's part of that marginalization that people have experienced. For the period he has been minister and the leader of Meru, that marginalization, he has been part of it, and the continued push to let Kiraitu continue being the leader of Meru is what has generated this that feeling. And I'm sure once, because you can see the president is already saying he's neutral in the politics of Meru. Once he comes out as neutral, you will see that some of those issues will come to an end.
What is the origin of your
I find it a problem when you are the problem and you want to paint other people as a problem.
You're saying he's done nothing for the region?
What has he done? Literally, for the period he has been there. Meru is still experiencing problems of power. We don't have enough people connected to power, even after he has been minister for 10 years, dealing with power. So what will he stand and say, this is what I did for the period I'm in government for Meru?
But what is the genesis of your personal beef, if you like? Because it seems to have taken a rather personal dimension with yourselves. You've been labeled a traitor. He said, you should be ready to, don't you worry, he's going to get you a job in government once you lose the election. And a lot of insults have been hurled back and forth. Why is this, the thing between the two of you getting particularly nasty?
Well, we are competing for a seat. He wants to be governor. I want to continue being the governor. But he's one who likes those accusations. I don't accuse him of not being loyal to whoever doing this. I only say that he has nothing to show for the period he has been in leadership in Meru. And I say time for him to leave the scene so that others can take him to the next level has come.
And
the truth is, majority of Meru people agree with me.
Majority of leaders perhaps don't. He seems to have significant support. The Gembe South legislator, the women's rep, the Gembe Central MP, and a host of other elected leaders seem to be siding with him. Who stands with you?
Oh, the people of Meru stand with me. And wait for the elections, you'll see. Some of the people you are talking about, you'll see.
They'll go home?
Yeah. It's not, being elected does not mean because you were elected yesterday, you still maintain the support you had that time. You are forgetting 60% of elected people go home every election. So don't judge.
So who on this list do you believe is stacking?
I don't want to go into personalized things at this point. Let's wait and see, but I can assure you, Meru people want change, and there will be change.
Let's talk about and return to the question of devolution and the origins of some of your troubles with the current administration. Which areas did you take exception to the way in which Jubilee handled the question of devolution?
One issue that I still think needs to be addressed and will continue being an agenda for devolution for foreseeable future is the need to increase funding to counties. That issue will not go away. The other key issue, and I said when I was giving the state of the county address, was the issue of strengthening intergovernmental institutions. Because for devolution to work, you need the institutions that help interface between the national and county government to be strong and to be properly structured for seamless service delivery. Because there are certain many things that you must do together as national government and county government. I think Jubilee has not done very well in terms of helping this institution to grow. But, of course, when we were elected and devolution came in, we must credit Jubilee and the president specifically for saying, let's go with it. Let's start this devolution and devolving with a bang. Because the law allowed to do structured and face the devolution.
But they devolved more.
So we give him credit for that. We would expect the national government to do more in terms of giving more resources to counties.
Yeah, let's talk about the resources. The council has been pushing for about 45%, yet what Kenyans have been treated to, at least with the Auditor General's report and from the Treasury, are two things: mismanagement, poor accounting of these resources, and sometimes just even poor absorption. So why would Kenyans support, 45%?
I would say I would differ with you in terms of performance of counties. There is a lot of media reports and a lot of stories, but the real report which I gave even when I was giving state of the county address, you see significant transformation in the sectors that counties run. So counties being new and young, obviously you expect a lot of challenges. We are only 4 years old, so you expect many challenges, even accounting challenges.
So doesn't it make sense to sort out those challenges first before asking for more funds?
Those challenges, the national government actually is mandated under the law to help counties build capacity. So if there are problems of capacity, you can't blame them on counties, yet you have a mandate to do capacity building, and then you have not done your job. And looking at it, I'm just not finished. Looking at it, you find same problems in the national government. So do we say we don't fund national government because
the two wrongs make a right?
Because there are challenges. Is there any? I've never had any suggestion anywhere that because there is corruption in national government, there are problems of Auditor General. Every day there is a report. Every time Auditor General releases a report, huge stories about national government. There has never been any suggestion. Let's not stop funding the national government, or let's not increase funding to national government because of those problems. So let's not have double standards when we are dealing with these issues, because this double standard comes with an assumption that county governments should only survive if they have no problems.
But it's not a question of survival. This administration has devolved more funding than is required in the Constitution. I'm talking about pushing it up to the level
of 45%. The Constitution says minimum. It never sets a maximum.
They're way past the minimum,
and
aren't they?
It says, no, the Constitution is saying give the minimum. You are supposed to determine the funding for counties by analyzing and costing functions. So when we arrive at 45%, it's because we have analyzed and costed the functions that are given to the counties for us to determine how much resources are supposed to go to counties.
I'm just asking, because you've talked about capacity issues and the challenges. Is it not prudent to sort those out first before asking for more funds?
If you are sorting out the issue of misuse of funds, if, for example, it's corruption or whatever, do you sort it out by denying funds, or you sort it out by taking action on whoever you think is mismanaging? Because, I mean, I don't think the two are interlinked. I don't think there is a linkage between saying capacity and then funds. Because if it's a problem of management, problem of not using money, deal with that issue. Don't link it to funding, because funding is a must. I'm supposed to deliver water, I'm supposed to deliver roads. I need that money to deliver those functions.
What kind of relationship do governors have with national government right now going into the election?
Governors generally what?
Yeah, generally. You are the chair of them all.
I think our relationship has improved over time. I think when we started it was worse. I think over time it's not as bad as it used to be.
But is it antagonistic in nature?
Disagreements. In fact, we just need to get used to this situation, because county governments are county government, national governments is national government. There will always be pull and push between the two levels. That's what we are told. Even when we travel to those countries that are developed, we are told there is that. Even in the US, we are told there is that pull and push between the states government and the national government. It is a healthy thing. So we need to get used to it, that there will always be that, because we had used, unless we want to go back to a centralized system, then we have one center of power. As long as we have two centers of power, each competing for resources and for opportunity and for the democratic space, there will always be that. Is
it coincidence that everyone who's headed the Council of Governors has almost ended up being completely saddled by the opposition? Now, look, we have three. We've seen the route in which Isaac Ruto has taken. For yourself, for a long time, it was very unclear where you were going to stand until that endorsement of the president. And now the current chair is somebody who's, public issues with the president, are not, they're not hidden.
I think we just need to see it differently. Let's not say this individual versus the other. Let's look at institutions. The chair of the Council of Governors must really be a strong person for the council to perform and for the devolution agenda to be kept alive in this country. So it's not by accident that strong personalities have been chairing the council. It is good, and I think it's fair, so that devolution, which is a very young thing in this country that still needs to be nurtured, requires that strong leadership. So there is nothing really personal between those who are leading the council and the leadership at the national level.
All right. I want to take in some of the questions that you've been sending in. Thank you very much for them. Let's see what it is you had to say. What role do governors have in the UNGA issue? We have been blaming the national government and not governors. They have agriculture ministers for what?
So that's a question?
Yes. It ends with the question.
Oh, so...
agriculture is a devolved function. National government has been getting the flack on this whole UNGA issue. What is the role of counties?
Counties are counties. They are individual counties. For us to be able to deal with a national issue like prices of food and all that, we need a coordinated policy at the national level that is now that is reinforced by policy at the county level, that contribute to the overall food security, overall production and all that. That has been lacking, and that's why I'm telling you we need to build the intergovernmental institutions that help drive the overarching policy at the national level that is supposed to be implemented by the county.
But the production issue is very much yours, is it not?
Not entirely. In production, it's not just about production. It's about inputs. It's about the focus on what we are producing. That's why I'm saying we need to have an overall policy decision on where we are driving agriculture. Then counties are supposed to be the implementers. And I was saying, even though we have this problem, I would say, and I said to the county address, one of the ministers who has done very well in attempting to come with a current structure that is agreed, an agenda that is agreed between counties and the national government, is the Minister for Agriculture. Though we've not moved to the level of implementation, I'm sure if we implemented what we sat down and agreed minimum basket with the National Minister of Agriculture, you'll see some change in terms of driving our vision to produce enough food for the country, to look at the specific issues that we need to address in agriculture, and etc. etc.
Right.
But to assume that it's counties that will feed the country, each county has its own policy that it will do, unless we have one policy agreed upon at the national level, so that we require each county to implement and fulfill.
Right.
We will never reach that target, because this county will deal with its own issues that it thinks is important at that level. I emphasize milk, for example. I emphasize dairy. Somebody else emphasizes something else. Small things there. So that is why counties actually can't work on their own. Neither can national government work on its own, because the national government also requires counties to implement the policy. And that's why even in division of functions in the constitution, when you look at it, policies is national government.
National government, right.
Implementation is county. How will you do that if you don't work together?
You've got to.
Yes.
We hope you will.
We have to.
All right, let's take a look at the poll. The question we have been asking you, do you believe that Meru is a swing region? At least the opposition has claimed this very much so. 57. Oh, there goes my tongue. 57% of you agreeing and 43% saying no. Your reaction on that?
Well, this is a national vote, isn't it?
It is.
Huh?
It is. It's not a scientific poll, but it's a national poll.
I'm saying, it's not like it's in Meru. It's a national.
Oh, so everybody else may not know what they're talking about.
And then that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying it's a judgment, a national judgment on what Meru is supposed to be. It's a perception, and I can't question it. It's a perception from those who.
But reality on the ground may be different.
Well, I said there is some significant support for NASA in Meru, and I explained why that support is.
Yeah, but in your perception, does it reach half? Does it reach at least half?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No.
I thank you for your time, Peter Munya.
Thank you. Thank you.
Meru County.